A brand new show. We are here for episode 1 of Kill La Kill. Is it La? I don't know. Whatever. Let me know. I don't actually know how you're going to describe that in letters. We ran a poll, and these were the results. And now I know what you're thinking by looking at the results. This show didn't win. Why are we? Why are we watching it? Well, about that. I watched the first episode of SOV Asavase, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this at all. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I really didn't at all. It's not one of those, it's one of those shows. I'm usually pretty good at telling if I'm going to like a show. I really can't tell how much I'm going to, but if I'm just going to have a general interest in the show through one episode, but sometimes you do need to give things 3. I kind of knew from the beginning that the structure of it and the comedy style was doing things that I don't particularly like in comedies, and we've come across a few others in the channel where I've tried to record a first episode. Most of them you don't even know. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. There's even been some that you guys have recommended me that I've personally already watched before, and I didn't like it all. You know, that just happens. Sometimes there's shows that we don't like. Sometimes there's shows that we do. That just turned into one. It was a 20-something minute episode, and I sat there for most of, just had like a straight face of no reaction. I found almost none of it to be entertaining to me. A little unfortunate, but we're here for something else, so let's not speak on the negative anymore. For those of you who are upset, I am sorry. I didn't want to repoll. I didn't want to repoll. It's just, there's no point. So we're going to watch this. This came in second. It wasn't very clear. Only won by 1 extra percent over Erased. So I have a plan to kind of figure things out. Every thing I put on a poll is intended to be watched at some point. It's not like a feeler to see how interested you are. It's more so like the order that you want to see it in. So the way I'm going to do this, so I don't have to run polls anymore, this show is 24 episodes, I believe, and I think there's a special, so 25 that we're going to have. So this is going to go on for a little bit within the slot that it's in, but we're watching 2 other shows, Machina's being one of those, so we're going to replace that when that is completed with Erased, which is also only 12 episodes, and then whatever finishes first between Erased and the show, we'll replace that with A Place Further Than the Universe, because that also had a really strong standing regardless in the poll, so we're just going to let it get its shot. So all 3 will be watched as soon as I kind of can get around to them, and that's going to be the plan going forward, so you're aware of what's going to replace what and how soon it's going to come in. And we're going to kind of leave it at that. As always with the first episode of a show, as I just had to do previously, and I had to even speak on before the show started, so we're going to do it again just to be safe. If I do not enjoy this and I have a problem and I don't really like the direction that we're going and stuff with the show, just off the start, and I don't really want to keep giving it a shot to keep going, I'm going to kind of cut it there, and we're just going to move to the next one. You won't end up seeing this, but I'll discuss that in whatever video of what comes. It depends though. Sometimes I might watch a couple. I might have to watch 2 or 3 on my own here to decide if it's really for me or not. Sometimes shows take a little bit longer to develop and get that out of us. We'll have to end up seeing. Will say I am cautious going into this. While I know it's a series a lot of people absolutely love, it is made by Trigger and an original, of course, by them. I haven't seen a lot of Trigger shows. I know people really love Trigger and the different things that they're able to accomplish and have been able to do over the years. But the 2 that I've seen, which isn't, you know, they're not technically, they're original, but they're not technically at the same time because they have other material that they're being based entirely off of, were Dungeon Meshi and Cyberpunk. And to be honest, I didn't really love either of them. Cyberpunk, I enjoyed a decent like part of it, but I had a lot of problems with other parts of it, and I just couldn't get into Dungeon Meshi at all. It just like, it doesn't connect with me in any sort of way, and it just isn't for me. So I am a little cautious going into like I think this is probably their biggest show, is from what I'm aware of. So I'm a little cautious to go into it and potentially not like it, because I might just not be somebody who enjoys their style of doing things. But I guess we'll end up seeing what happens, and hopefully we have a bunch of fun. I don't really know much else. I didn't look at the staff or anything involved. I know we have 24 episodes. I know there's 1 special to my knowledge, and I think that's kind of it. Aired back in 2013 based on just an original, and I know a lot of people say it's like some sort of like spiritual successor to Gurren Lagann, and I just Haven't seen that either. So this, if I was supposed to see that first, I'm sorry, just didn't end up seeing it. We might have to backtrack. That will be something we watch here at some point. It hasn't come up that we ended up doing it yet. It was on a previous poll. It just didn't perform too well, so it ended up not getting in. But you know, at some point we'll get around to it for sure. The only thing I know is I've seen the main girl's design, I'm pretty sure, and like the poster that I used in the thing that I posted for you guys to see, for you to vote on. That's literally all I know. That's all I have seen, and somehow was able to kind of get away from one of the more popular animes of its day, of course, and I don't know how that happened, but here we are. I don't even think I've seen the OP or anything. I might have heard it before. I don't know, but I don't think so. So all of this is brand new stuff. I have no expectations. I have nothing to really like base this on. I'm just assuming that we're doing something and we're battling with each other for whatever it is. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of action. I am curious if there's going to be things for me to speak on and speak about. Of course, would absolutely love that, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's just more intense at certain moments and it's not like very deep or things for me to kind of get into, or there's just, I don't know, maybe it's pretty straightforward even, instead of us having to deep dive and theorize on stuff. You know, there's always different routes we can go. We welcome anything, of course, but I am just not certain in the slightest with anything regarding the show, so I can't really make a general guess. I'm just kind of assuming we're gonna get something that's just very fast-paced, fun, energetic, in your face kind of, and I think that would be fun to have, because if I'm being honest, I don't think we have anything like that on the channel right now. We have like some comedy, slower stuff, some romance stuff, and then we got like some like crazy things that you have to like theorize and thrillers and stuff, so it'd be kind of nice to throw in there because it's so different than everything else we're working on. As far as I'm concerned, based off of the list of producers I'm looking at here, we shouldn't have an issue with copyright, but if we do, we might have to adjust it. We might have to take a different format and do things different. I don't really know yet, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So if it's less visible or audio is weird or whatever, it's just because I did what I could to get it up for you. So, so hopefully everybody enjoys. Hopefully I enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. You want to feel free to stick around for our discussion. Leave any comments with this episode of series. Let's go on with the first episode of Kill la Kill. Thank you for the history lesson. I love the lighting already in that. What kind of... Are we in a boat? It's a massive foot. Okay. Can you please not? Okay. Is this our principal? Oh, they just spawned him. Okay. Look how you can tell who's going to be an important character strictly based on the coloring. Super fun. Kind of fruit you think he ate that got him this big? The 1 star. Ooh. Let's see if you're worthy. Bro, it does not fit you. No. Okay. So we just possess power with it. Still, yeah, I mean, that's aura in front of you, dude. You're not touching that. So he just comes in and beats the shit out of people. Got it. Oh, super fun. Okay. Next. I like how the uniform just stays perfectly fine. Oh. Is that her? My lady?
服を着た豚ども、その真実に屈服せよ。
I don't know about all that, but I don't think they really have a choice. That's the display we just watched. I don't think they have a choice. The next day. Very, like, quick. Oh, that's so cool. I'm in. I'm in already. I don't need to see more. I'm in. Hello, I've seen you. We work our way to the top. Don't eat the lemon like that.
人の食べかけのレモンを盗むなんて混ぜてるじゃないか。そんなに初恋の味が知りたいのかな。てめえシャレたまねえわ。ファーストキスぐらい済ませてない。じゃあもうこの世に未練はないね。
Then I guess you got everything you want.
この電光石火のマタロウ様に舐めた真似してくれるじゃねえ
The
か。
great what?
この世界の俺様の島、本能者裏服。ええよ、売られた喧嘩は買うのが信条だ。かかってきな。いやー、しまいや。おいおい、強い者にはアメっぽいよい。それもオイラの長所でして。頭を下げるやつを殴れねえな。今回は許してやるよ。
I can bluff a little bit. Look at that. Can't really fight though. Well. You gotta get to the top, run. I love how they're all packed in there. Well, now that it just keeps flashing on the screen like that. Oh.
町も町なら学校も物騒だな。面白い。
What is your plan with the school?
手がかりがつかめそうだ。
Some leads.
ここ空いてるよ。この席の鈴木君の生徒会。
Nope. Sir, once.
まあ、満貫色はああいう子だから。じゃあ君の席、そこね。
私、満貫色マコ。
Mako.
転校生だったのか。よろしくね。
She seems really sweet.
表の男か。そうそう。まあよくあることだから気にしない気にしない。もう寝てるし。
She got her whole day in instantly.
もうなんで避けるの？いや、急に飛びかかられたら避けるだろう普通。
But when it's a cute girl, usually you just accept it.
親友って。
Right, so we gotta be besties if we're gonna sit next to each other. He's here.
やつは偉いのか？三つ星だからね。三つ星？そう。生徒会四天王の一人、風紀委員長の蒲郡イラさん。私ら無星の平民生徒に。
There's no star play.
この学校の制服にすっごいパワーがあって、それを着るとすっごいの。人間以上の力。
But how do you get the stars? Do you just have to encounter a uniform?
だって生徒会長の桐生院さつき様が生徒の能力に合わせて極制服をくださるの。
Ah, okay, okay.
とにかく分かった。
So you gotta suck up.
偉いのはその生徒会長か。そう
So
そう。
not even this is it.
あれがそのさつき様よ。
That's a real aura there. Hey.
あんたがこの学校で一番偉いんだって。
Holy.
でっかいハサミ半分。
うひょー、大きなハサミだ。そうだ。
It's a big scissor.
ハサミの半分だ。私 私はこのもう片方持ってるやつを探してる。
Okay, so now we know what you're looking
あんた
for.
今こいつを見て驚いたな。見覚えがあるんじゃないか、この肩立ちバサミを。だったらどうした。その口ぶり、てめえが肩立ちバサミの女だな。
I don't think so. But I think she has an idea. They have a very interesting design.
ああ、服なんか着てねえじゃねえか。
Right. Oh, that's fun. So it doesn't even have to match. And he has the 2 stars, right? Yeah. Like a big game. It's not looking good for you right now. Yeah, I thought you were about to prove worthy for something. I get it's like a status thing, but y'all be sucking this bitch's dick so much. Doris was with France. Thank you. So they're definitely after the scissor then.
わざわざ回収を命じてたけど、あれ何なの、さつき様。
あれは対極征服用に開発された特別な武器だ。やつの名は
マトイリュウコです。
マトイか。なるほど。
Why do you get it? Why will you not answer any question?
父さん。ごめんな父さん。やっと犯人の手がかりがつかめそうなのに、私にもっと力があったら。
Work to perfection.
あとは君次第だ。マトイリュウコ君。
Does he want success for her? Or is that? I wonder if that's his role here.
何？セーラー服？
This is literally just the.
そして血をくれ。私はまた眠りたくない。
服？セーラー服がちょべってる。
驚くな。驚くくらいなら私を切ろう。
I feel like that's a big thing to care about. Right, right exactly. Holy shit. How many stars is that? You're blasting an announcement. Her friend, the girl, Mato? So you just pose a yeah. That's your concern? That's the concern? The hell? Oh. I'm stronger than before too. Round 1. It was not like this before. Oh, all that.
なんだその格好は。
ジロジロみんな
I did not pick it.
俺の目をかぶとってんだ
好きでやっ
It might be working though.
つけていたソフトグローブは外させてもらおう。これが本当の本能寺学園
The 2-star gloves. Ooh. Okay.
少々オブラートにでも包まんと
Is there not like a weight difference?
相手をしてくれんのでね。なんかこうやって終幕にさらすことでさらに力がみなげる。さすがは
Alright, the classic, the reason why you have to explain it the way you are.
近見ても反則だろそれでも面白い
Round 2.
さっきのマントにどんなタイプが使ったか知らねえが。
Just holding strong, right?
俺のグローブが
鋼になるのはお前のグローブだけじゃないこの服もだ
So we just can't get it. Alright. Ooh.
すごいリュウコちゃんボクシングもできるんだね。違うと思うぞ。
Yeah, you're an interested one.
左ジャンプ右フック体
Call it whatever you want. You're literally just hitting him with an object.
とどめの右ストレート
That's not the show they thought they were about to be getting.
いやそれだけではない
Is that for your ultimate ability? No. Not on the queen. Not on the queen. No.
狭い置き場。
やめておけ貴様その服どこで手に入れた
I don't. It put itself on me.
これは父さんの形見だ何そしてこの肩立ちばさみこそ父さんを殺した犯人が残したものださあ
So you're saying your father left this uniform for you to wear? It seems a little weird.
気流印刷機
Okay, so about as crazy as you're gonna get with than an episode. Crazy to like a certain extent. We just like recently watched Don Da. That's like absurdly like what the hell are we actively doing here? This was kind of like in a similar way, a little bit different, but still giving off similar feelings in that sort of way. And I'm here for it. It didn't take long to get me really interested. There's so many like unique and just fun things that they did, very creative in regards to the coloring that they were doing, the character designs, the movement of the camera, the awareness of how to make a lot of different scenes kind of humorous. And then there's a lot of appeal too for just majority of other people with well animated action sequences and a whole bunch of everybody's, you know, favorite type of moments in regards to that and how wacky it can get. Also the bunch of fan service and stuff. So there's different elements for different people kind of involved here that that I think actively make a really fun experience for everybody. And I thought it was really entertaining. I don't know, based on what's been set up here, and it's only one episode, so that stuff definitely gets deeper and stronger, of course, as you go through. But, you know, you can form a estimate, I guess, up to this point of where you're going to head. I don't know if we're going to get too deep overall within story stuff. It seems like they have an idea of where they want to go, and it seems like we're actively going to build to get to that, but also involving our main character to actively beat the kind of like big four that are surrounding the president basically that we have here, and once they end up getting to that point, I'm assuming we're gonna have like a natural progression that allows her to kind of like rise up top to then get the answers to the things that she properly needs, you know, to kind of get some closure on, you know, her father's death and everything that came along with that. So I think it's like it sets up what it kind of needs to. Do we have to follow that exact route? No, we can throw twists and turns at some other point, and we can speed that up a little bit quicker, or we can have things not successfully go in her sort of direction, or we can make somebody else appear who has more knowledge and lead, you know, her into a different direction and forcibly have things kind of change up. Or maybe we actively end up finding out that the school's also kind of like working towards something very similar, and then we have to team up with people. You know, there's like a variety of directions that they could take, but my guess would be what I initially said, and we're going to kind of just work up to ultimate success of kind of defeating everybody at the school to the point that we will have all the information that we need to maybe find like an end goal person, or maybe they do have access to it already. The president does, that is, and then we're able to kind of get it from her through success towards the end. I don't know, but I think that we'd probably head down some sort of route like that. I think the character designs are really killer throughout, really interesting. They scream like older, so the fact that it still was like 13, I think is pretty cool. For whatever reason, I just feel like these are like really strong, like 2000s type of like designs with a bunch of them, but in like their own little twist, you know, and they work themselves out to be pretty cool. I was getting a lot of, weird enough with the character designs, I'm getting a lot of Bleach vibes. I don't know why. I don't see a lot of similarities. I think it was mainly Satsuki that was kind of giving me that like badass like woman in kind of like suit or something thing. Like I don't know, the feeling I got from it. But I was getting like similar or weird vibes. But it might also be just because Bleach has really good character design in general. So similarity, I think, when it ends up coming to that. But I think that stuff was really fantastic there as well. As I was saying too, the humor, I think, suited itself towards me. Of course, there's going to be moments and jokes and things that don't land perfectly or don't entirely hit, or I think like are trying a little bit too hard to, you know, do something that just isn't really there. But I do think for a majority they hit some really good moments. The standout thing I can think of was with Mako and her kind of just introducing herself like in class, being like very hyper, and then like switching between like reading, getting prepared, and like eating and sleeping and everything instantly. I think that in itself was really hilarious. But a few other moments I think came out really strong, and just like the over the top like wackiness with what's going on with like everybody else kind of within the school and how they all act, and just the different design of like the boxer and even the first guy that we got introduced to and everything, just being so massive in comparison and just beating up the students and stuff, like things like that are, I think, work themselves out to be just pretty funny just for being so stupid, which is always a welcome. I like the voice acting too, which will transition us really nicely into when I go look at the voice actors after this. But I think that a lot of the characters don't feel as natural, with Ryuko being like more deeper voice kind of girl, and then also with Satsuki being kind of a similar thing. I think like everybody has their own sort of like uniqueness to it. A lot of the guys are like more expressive and wacky, and even the ones who are trying to be, you know, deeper voice and have that sort of like typical person, they have their own little flair that makes them have to like reach those higher notes a little bit sometimes too. I think that it was really fun casting, and definitely more entertaining than a lot of different shows. Like one of my favorite voice actresses is Miyuki Swashiro, and she does a handful of other characters. She has a very wide range, but in the few different roles that I've seen her in, one of them, like the standout one that I really like, is when she plays Inaba in Kokoro Connect. I think that's like, Inaba's one of my favorite characters just in general, but her having the voice that she's able to utilize with that, and just having like a normal girl with like the deeper kind of voice, I think like something about it is pretty strong to me. So being able to get that out of like a couple of the different characters mixed in here too, I think is really fun. Okay, we will look at the actors and actresses now. So we'll look at the main three that we've kind of been introduced to, because they're kind of the only real important ones, I think, up to this point, which will end up being Ryuko, Satsuki, and Mako. So with Ryuko, we have Hollow, which is really fun, and some strong difference in range, I think, overall between what I'm familiar with her having with that. It's going to be a lot of things too that are like older, and I haven't particularly seen like a ton of them, so I'm not going to be too familiar with anything that I've seen in particular. Satsuki, which is fun, and nothing else that's like a massive role that I'm too familiar with, so that's always interesting too. But she does have a couple other like pretty strong roles that she's kind of like established to do. So I am curious for this character in Code Geass exactly like where the voice comes from in that, or how exactly that kind of translates itself to being within her range of like what I'm personally familiar with. Satsuki having a few different voices that I'm familiar, nothing too much, but a couple that I am, which I can definitely see tracked at some sort of level here. And Mako, once again, nothing to stand out. I didn't feel like I came out of it really remembering or thinking of any of these, like connecting them to somebody else. So I think that that's like kind of good. So potential like range kind of being shown off. I don't remember what either of these two sound like, so I can't fully remember, but interesting. Yeah. Let's skim on through the episode. Might be a little easier to work out exactly what I kind of want to talk to. I love the just instant kicking down. Well, first, before we even get to that, the way that we kind of do this, the girls stand out a little bit more. I thought it was like specifically Mako who gets like shaded in a different way, but I think it's just the uniform with that being a little bit more bright and all the guys kind of not being. But just the overall like coloring of the scene with the way the lighting and everything comes in, I think is super strong. And brother just breaks through the door. No chill at all. The way that he just like comes in here, the way that these guys all form kind of around you, the single stars. We have Ira, who is the disciplinary chairman, who is going to be kind of very relevant, I'm assuming, throughout all of this. And he picks a fight with the one kid, or the one kid, I guess, really picks a fight with him, who obtained the 1 star and thought that he was fucking special. This is really fun, really awesome. I love having a fight between characters that doesn't involve like our main, to really kick things off and set up like how wacky everything itself is about to be, and also really explain the system in a sort of way that like you can latch onto with ease. And it's not complex, right? Like it's probably going to be with the types of uniforms and what they're each kind of capable and everything, like being slightly altered as we progress and probably unfold with like learning about new ones and everything. I mean, we have the sailor and then the boxer and all that stuff, so it's like a little bit different. But these base uniforms that we're kind of aware of here, it's a pretty simple system of this is a 1 star, this is a 3 star. There's a big difference between the two and what each of them are able to like absorb with damage and power levels and things that it's able to kind of give off. So we're able to go from seeing like something really strong on this guy's end of things to immediately power dynamic, just feeling like it's completely different with how he just obliterates him. The camera movement's so fun throughout, going around like this big turn and the way that they're able to move. So cool. Be able to just to take it off. So the uniform itself is more than just cloth, right? It's like that shit just don't fucking break. It don't get destroyed. That's Aura up there. The queen. That's the queen. And salute directly to her. Interesting design too with her face. It's not very feminine at all. And even like with the anything that she has to wear outside of the fact that she has the heels on is really cool. But I wonder if it's more of like she's suited for the role in a way because they don't view her in like a different type of light, if that makes sense. Like, and we're just trying to design her to give off like more of that stern, or I guess like typical like manly, like authoritarian kind of feeling to it. I don't know. I am curious behind it, but I do like the general idea of having a woman be like at the top of it instead. This just flying out of here as you go down to give off the entire landscape of like the city itself, while just having the flashing things on screen come up like this is so fun, so entertaining. And having to look up, it's like the climb that you're eventually going to have in the battle that you have to face. And I think this could set up a really fun shot come last episode, if all is like accomplished and done well, that you were like looking down on the city as opposed to back up on it or something like from a different direction. I think would be pretty cool. Good overall character, like, way of setting things up to learn a little bit about Ryuko. Seeing, like, the willingness to fight and willingness to not, like, put up with a bunch of shit, but also just the type of person who is willing to, like, also let things go if that time actually comes. If you're provoked, you know, if you poke at me, I'm gonna fucking fight back and really come at it. But if I don't really have to, then at the same time I won't. It's a level of like maturity on that, to not let things kind of like emotions and things overwhelm her, which could just not be, it could just be in this moment, like in general might not be the case, especially when things regarding like her father and everything come along. It could be pushed along a little bit there, but I think there's a good job at developing or hinting towards, at least early enough, that that she's kind of focused on what she needs to, and taking these unnecessary like fights and things like might not necessarily always be worth it, and can be logical and like reasonable if you give enough good reason. Mako attacking her brother is super funny. She's very chaotic. Her trying to get on it, get on the train just packed with everybody, and we have to go all the way back up to the top. Here lies a naked pig that dared to defy, and the being naked and showcase of like the bodies and everything can be chalked down a lot to the idea of like being stripped of your uniform and your own like worth of like what you have while attending this kind of facility, which I think makes sense. At certain moments the fan service itself doesn't really relate in a way to that, but at different points I think definitely can, especially when completion of battle would involve like the stripping of something. I think definitely can make a bunch of sense. Here's our new transfer student. Here, sit at this desk. Sit at this desk. She's just so adorable. I don't know what it is. It's the different faces that she can make. It's her energy. It's her excitement over a bunch of stuff. So good. Them being besties just off of one simple interaction. The immediate realizing somebody might be here. Let me skip this guy that you're talking about. This is the big dog. Let me immediately go after what I need. There's no point of messing around. Taking out the scissor. Only one half, though. Doesn't have the entire thing. And this is where we learn a lot of plot stuff that we'll likely end up having. The woman who has the other scissor must be you, and immediately going after and targeting because, you know, anger gets in the way. And this is what I just said before. It's like the emotion without actually getting the answer. When it comes to what's important to you, you're not able to let that slide and you take action instantly. But when it isn't the case, you're able to. Things like this, like, so fan service is always like a weird thing. I'm not like gonna get mad when it's like in play. It just doesn't offend me in any way, and I don't get bothered by it. While sometimes I do think it can be distracting and unnecessary. I think at times I don't really care. I like the subtle moments like this, and I call this subtle for like it's on screen for like a single frame. Like it's not a big thing, right? Like it shows up and it goes away pretty quick. And it's like rewards essentially like anybody who like really wants to like slow down and pay attention to like certain sort of scenes, who might be like really interested in it, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. That the overutilization that we end up getting later, specifically with like the outfit choice and the different ways that we like kind of frame Ryoko in the scenes, are clearly intended not through the eye of any of the characters involved or anything, but like intended for the viewer to kind of gain like different types of insights and like view this character in different ways. And that stuff is like sometimes a little weird depending, but for me, like I don't really care, but I do like just at least bringing attention to directly why or what the purpose potentially is with it, because sometimes you can tastefully end up doing it in a sort of way that comes, and it's not even tasteful, I would say, but just like do it in a way that it comes directly from characters' observation, and you're putting themselves in the mind of it, so it becomes very important and relevant to be on screen directly because you are seeing another like characters through their own perspective, so you can get into their head a little bit more, whereas some of this other stuff maybe isn't that case. But I guess you can even talk yourself into the argument that due to forcibly giving her a uniform the way that they do in the later half of the episode, that all the characters are looking and observing potentially like lustfully in a sort of way towards her, that us as the viewer should also have to see the multiple like angles and things that are like directing and like putting her within that sort of framing. I guess we could argue something along those lines too, just to make it like work a little bit more. But I don't really know. But I don't have too many issues. I just like bringing attention and talking. So that's where it comes in. Knocks it down though. Always got guards, right? And this is what happens. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get to a point where your 3-star is fucking bullshit and her role itself is like completely like unearned or unworthy. I mean, it might be, but we have that happen a lot in a bunch of different series and stuff too, where like the person at the top is actually just like the biggest coward themselves, and she just knows she has thousands of people here who are willing just to step up and fight her battles for her, allowing her to never really get touched or have to worry about that at all. And it's like those are kind of fucked up things, but I mean, she literally does. Here's the fucking boxer, and he completely destroys Ryoko, who has this boxing gear on, so apparently that just gives him different strength and ability. I like later too when he touches on the idea that he needs to like be vocal about what he's capable of doing and what he does, because it forces him to have like more energy and just be stronger and stuff what he does. It's a good way to like counteract, like allow you to explain, but at the same time like have a reason for why you end up doing it. The different scenes like this where we get the frames where like we freeze things up can be fun, but the overutilization of them sometimes can be a little much, when I think like sometimes this scene might be a little bit better of like having her like go up in the air and then just get like completely slammed down, as opposed to just two different like still shots kind of it. I think like having a nice mix and balance between them would be really strong. So we'll have to see how they like progressively continue to use it, but nothing negative about that now. And I still think it's really fun. The teacher watching on here is really interesting, especially because he's the one that we later end up seeing likely setting something up for her to find, or an area for her to find, while she chalks it up to being her father. It might end up being, but I don't believe so. I think it's like directly related to him. So I think he's going to have like some sort of thing in it where he's like purposely allowing her to find this, or maybe he knew her father in some sort of way, or he kind of has an idea of what's going on and he thinks it's only right that she has like a fair chance at getting this vengeance that she's kind of after. So I don't really know. This whole area is fun, where we get to learn and see everybody who's like kind of our big four here, with the disciplinary guy with Ira. Who else do we end up getting? We get this guy who we'll call like the pretty boy, who's also just on the student council. Uzu, another simple one. He's the intelligence and tactics officer. What was the previous guy? I didn't even say. Head of sport. Okay. So intelligence and tactic officer. And then interesting, I love how he just like able to have his collar come up. Cover around his face. And then we gotta get somebody else in there. So we got the cute girl with the pink hair, the big hat, of course, which I like. The culture clubs. And those are our big four, basically. But then we have some others who, of course, step in and handle things and do things, such as the boxer and everybody else. I like the different shots that we get to. The constant things to give, like, size and understand how big and massive this place actually is really cool. And they all just look pretty quality overall. No way to us to view her father. Also, the things that she had to go through. So, seemingly when she's younger, somebody or something came in and completely killed her father. And she's doing all this for the sole purpose of finding the identity of it. And all of a sudden, there's just a random trapdoor that ends up being in here. The rest is up to you. It's crazy how much he changes from that to this. Like, is it a different dude? Because the hair color is different, too. Does he just put on faces, or is he posing as somebody? But I don't really know. The rest is up to you. So, like, seemingly putting us in a position to allow her to be successful, thinking that this was all intended and set up by her dad. And then here we get the uniform that comes in that is here purposely for her to find and be able to level up and actually hold some sort of chance in battle against any of these sort of things. Here he goes. He's watching on, of course. Principal has no authority at all. All the powers are directly up to her. And brother wants to have this fight. He is going for it. We put her on full display here. We're going to boil her. I love the different like things, having the shrimp come out. Like, what the fuck is that? And just boiling it to prove that it actually works. And I love it later when we accidentally drop all the dudes in when she comes in and saves them here. And they all jump on her. Then they have to come out and they're all fried while they do. That's such a good gag. Able to save your friend. And we go to fight. I think all the fists coming in from the different direction are pretty cool. And all of a sudden, here comes the transformation. All the characters see it. See, it's like moments like this, right? So you get immediate showcase of what the outfit looks like and everything, while all the characters are like actively gazing and viewing of it. So, of course, makes plenty of sense. But later, when we get some other ones, it's like not the main focus of what's happening. So when you still have it in it, are we just supposed to be understanding that everybody else is still observing and witnessing this happening while this battle is going down? Or is it just literally for the idea of allowing the viewer to feel like they, I don't know, just get what they kind of want? Like, I don't necessarily know. He's able just to upgrade to tier 2 and that shit. Go crazy. I like the being embarrassed too, though, while having to have this on to showcase like the cool and calm demeanor that she kind of like tries to carry while she has on the outside, to be that she still does have like some form of like embarrassment and things like internal struggle and stuff that she's kind of like compensating for on the inside by what she, you know, displays herself as in regards to somebody else on the outside. It's round 1 and 2 is so fun. I love that they were just constantly doing that. Yeah, I guess those are the correct things, because even when we have this, immediately get all of these guys afterwards looking on. So I guess that is exactly what it is. But she's not able to take damage and feel anything when it actually comes to her. Actually, taking damage and feeling things are very different, so I do wonder what's going on. But she does have a uniform, and everybody's like, oh, holy fuck. And they know how to box. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. See, like that shot, the view, it makes sense. I don't know. And utilizing all the boxing terms in regards to the actions that she's doing with her scissor here. There's a fun counter to what he's doing. Has to strip him completely. She gets this thing to go into him when she does, so it's like she powers up by taking more directly from another person's uniform, and it charges her, but then it goes away the glow, so it might just strengthen exactly what's going on. Tries to throw it up directly at the president and gets a little bit blood, and everybody's like, holy fuck. Stopping us from doing that. Where did you get that uniform? Memento from father. Person who killed him. Now tell me about the scissor. But also had that name, I forgot to mention too, of Satsuki bringing up the idea that, or not the idea, but the mention of the name itself being relevant in some sort of way. So maybe there's any other sibling or family member kind of out there. Maybe it's just an actual understanding of what's going on while not, or it allows a hint. Maybe she doesn't actually have possession of this and she's actively looking for it herself too. And that sort of name gives her a little bit clue of what she actively needs to know too. I don't know. Will be it for our first episode. I had a bunch of fun. I thought it was very funny. I thought the animation was really great and just kind of wacky all around. And I'm very excited actually just to continue on and get through with this series. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, all, like and subscribe. Now, feel free to check out the video on the channel. If it comes with this sort of series, I'll be back for the second episode very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.